Gold digger cheats on husband and ends up with a fake millionaire. What happens next is shocking. Monica Ellis stared at her reflection, adding another coat of mascara while Daniel's off-key humming drifted from the kitchen. At 33, she had expected more from life than this. A modest 3-bedroom in Maplewood Estates and a husband who thought splurging meant ordering appetizers at Applebee's. "Breakfast is ready," Daniel called cheerfully. Monica forced a smile as she joined him. Daniel stood by the table in his faded blue apron, sandy hair tousled in that boyish way that once made her heart flutter but now only reminded her of his contentment with mediocrity. "I added blueberries, just how you like them," he said, pulling out her chair. "Thanks," she replied flatly. "I'm meeting Vivian and Audrey for lunch, so I'll just have one." Daniel's smile dimmed slightly. "Sure thing. More for me then." As they ate in silence, comfortable for him, suffocating for her, Monica studied her husband. Daniel Ellis, 35, mid-level operations manager at some forgettable tech company, eternally cheerful, despite driving the same 10-year-old Honda. He was kind enough, stable enough, but enough had stopped being enough for Monica a long time ago. At Crestview Mall's glossiest cafe, Monica stirred her latte while her two closest friends chatted excitedly. "Mark surprised me with first-class tickets to Bali," Vivian gushed, flashing her tennis bracelet. Audrey nodded appreciatively. "Ray's just closed that Singapore deal, so we're looking at vacation properties in Aspen." Both women turned expectantly to Monica. "What about you and Daniel?" Audrey asked. Monica snorted. "Daniel's big plan this month is refinancing our mortgage to save $100. Be still, my beating heart." Her friends exchanged that look Monica had grown to despise, pity mixed with superiority. "Daniel's a good guy," Vivian offered weakly. "Good guys are a dime a dozen," Monica retorted. "Meanwhile, I'm driving a car with manual windows while you two are living the life I thought I'd have by now." After an uncomfortable silence, Audrey brightened. "Are either of you going to the Children's Hospital benefit next weekend?" Raj Firm bought a table. "Mark too," Vivian nodded. "We should sit together." Monica's chest tightened. "Daniel and I weren't invited." "Come as our guests," Audrey insisted. "The networking is incredible. All the city's elite attend." The idea of mingling with successful people instantly lifted Monica's spirits. "I'd love that, though I'll have to convince Daniel. Charity events aren't cost-effective, according to his budget spreadsheet." That evening, Monica watched Daniel organize his dresser with methodical precision. Even his folding technique irritated her, so practical, so dull. "Audrey invited us to a charity gala next Saturday," she announced. "Very exclusive." Daniel frowned. "Those tickets are expensive, Mon. We're building our emergency fund, remember?" Monica's patience snapped. "God, Daniel. Not everything is about your precious emergency fund. We're invited as guests, so it won't cost anything. Heaven forbid we socialize with successful people for once." His face fell, and a familiar guilt crept in before she quickly squashed it down. "Look, these are important connections," she said, softening her approach. "You're always talking about advancement opportunities. This is how people get ahead." Daniel sighed. "If it means that much to you, we'll go." The night of the gala, Monica felt alive for the first time in months. The Grand Meridian Hotel's ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers, the air perfumed with success and wealth. Daniel stood awkwardly in his only suit, worn to every wedding, funeral and job interview for the past decade. Next to Raj's custom Tom Ford, he looked like an intern who'd wandered into the wrong event. "I'm getting champagne," Monica murmured, slipping away before he could join her. At the bar, she savored the expensive champagne. This was the world she belonged in. Not coupon clipping with Daniel in their vinyl-sided starter home. The crystal is divine, isn't it? Though personally, I find Dom Perignon more complex. Monica turned to find herself looking into the most magnetic blue eyes she'd ever seen. Their owner was tall, distinguished, with salt and pepper hair and a knowing smile. "I'm not sure I'm qualified to judge," Monica laughed. "But it beats the $12 Prosecco my husband brings home." "Then your palate has been deprived." "I'm Grayson Mills." He extended his hand. "Monica Ellis," she replied, feeling electricity as their fingers touched. "What brings you to this stuffy event? You don't seem like a regular attendee." "Is it that obvious?" She felt her cheeks warm with excitement. You have a genuine quality these rooms usually lack. It's refreshing. Grayson signaled for more champagne. I'm only here because my foundation is a major donor. Normally, I'm in Monaco this time of year. Monaco. The word itself conjured images of yachts and a life Daniel couldn't dream of providing. Your foundation? Monica asked, leaning closer. Just something I started after my second tech company went public, Grayson said dismissively. But enough about me. Tell me about yourself. As they talked, Monica felt herself blossoming. She carefully edited her life, emphasizing her college years when possibilities had seemed endless. When Grayson described his art collection and rare Basquiat, Monica nodded knowingly, as if her own living room art hadn't come from Home Goods. 2 hours passed before Daniel appeared at her elbow, concern on his face. There you are. I was worried. He extended his hand to Grayson. I'm Daniel Ellis, Monica's husband. Something flashed in Grayson's eyes before he shook Daniel's hand. Grayson Mills, your wife is charming company. Daniel smiled his guileless smile. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. Monica wished the floor would swallow her. How could Daniel not sense the vast chasm between himself and someone like Grayson? Monica was telling me about her interest in contemporary art, Grayson said smoothly. I've invited her to a private showing next weekend. You're welcome to join. Daniel checked his old Timex. I have that team-building retreat then, remember? Before she could respond, Grayson handed her his business card, heavy stock, embossed gold lettering. My private number is on the back, for the gallery details. As Grayson walked away, Monica slipped the card into her clutch, heart racing with possibilities. Daniel's hand found the small of her back, familiar and safe. But Monica no longer wanted safe. She wanted Grayson's world, private jets, rare art, and champagne that didn't come with a twist-off cap. For the first time she saw a path to that life that didn't include the man standing beside her. 3 days after the gala, Monica found herself staring at Grayson's business card for the 20th time. The embossed letters caught the afternoon light streaming through her kitchen window. Grayson Mills, founder and CEO, Meridian Ventures. The card felt heavy, expensive, like everything about him. She glanced at the clock. Daniel wouldn't be home for hours. Before she could second-guess herself, she dialed the number. Monica Ellis, Grayson answered on the second ring, as if he'd been waiting for her call. I was beginning to think you wouldn't use my number. His voice sent a shiver through her. I was just confirming details about the gallery showing. Actually, there's been a change of plans. I've acquired a rather extraordinary Monet that's being delivered to my penthouse tomorrow evening. Much more exclusive than a gallery. Say 7 o'clock? Monica's heart raced. I'd love to see it. The next evening, Monica told Daniel she was meeting Audrey for dinner. The lie slipped out effortlessly. Daniel, absorbed in some work report, merely nodded and reminded her to drive safely. Grayson's penthouse occupied the top 2 floors of the Pinnacle, the most exclusive building downtown. A private elevator whisked Monica up, her reflection in its mirrored walls revealing a woman she barely recognized. Hair perfectly styled, wearing the most expensive dress she owned, eyes bright with anticipation. When the doors opened, Grayson stood waiting, champagne flute in hand. You look stunning. The penthouse was a masterpiece of modern luxury, floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing panoramic city views, artwork that probably cost more than her house adorning every wall, furniture that looked both impossibly stylish and untouched by human use. Your home is incredible, Monica breathed, accepting the champagne. Just one of them, Grayson replied casually. My place in the Hamptons is twice this size. Over the next 2 hours, Grayson captivated her with stories of business conquests and celebrity friendships. When he mentioned flying his private chef from Paris to cater a last-minute dinner party, Monica couldn't help comparing it to Daniel's excitement over finding name-brand cereal on clearance. Enough about my boring life, Grayson said, refilling her glass. I want to know more about yours. Are you happy, Monica? The question caught her off guard. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if this is all there is. It doesn't have to be. His eyes locked with hers. Someone like you deserves extraordinary things. Later, when his lips found hers, Monica didn't resist. It felt inevitable, like gravity, like fate. His kiss tasted of expensive champagne and possibilities that Daniel could never offer. Over the following weeks, Monica crafted an elaborate architecture of lies. Yoga classes that didn't exist. Girls' nights with friends she hadn't actually seen. Weekend workshops for a career she wasn't pursuing. Daniel accepted each excuse without question, his trust becoming the very tool of his betrayal. Meanwhile, Grayson introduced Monica to a world she'd only glimpsed through magazine pages. They dined at restaurants where chefs prepared food as performance art, drank wines older than her marriage, and once he flew her to Chicago just for lunch. The bakery there makes a chocolate souffle worth the trip, he'd explained, as if private jets were as common as taxis. At home, Monica grew increasingly cold toward Daniel. His little gestures, post-it notes with hearts, flowers from the supermarket, now seemed pathetic rather than sweet. "Do you have to chew so loudly?" she snapped one evening as they ate dinner. Daniel looked startled. "I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was. And do you have to wear that shirt again? Don't you ever want to look, I don't know, successful?" "It's just dinner at home," he said quietly. "Is everything okay, Mon? You seem different lately." "Maybe I am different," she replied. "Maybe I'm tired of settling." 2 months into her affair, Grayson made a proposition that changed everything. "I'm flying to Monaco next month," he said as they lay tangled in the sheets of his king-sized bed. "Come with me, not just for a visit. Stay. I have a villa overlooking the Mediterranean. You'd never have to think about money again." Monica's heart pounded. "What about Daniel?" Grayson traced her collarbone with his finger. "What about him, Monica? Women like you aren't meant for men like him. You were born for luxury, for adventure. He'll find someone more suited to his lifestyle." That night, Monica couldn't sleep. The prospect of leaving everything, her friends, her modest life, her husband, terrified and exhilarated her in equal measure. The next morning she made her decision. "We need to talk," she told Daniel over breakfast. Daniel set down his coffee mug, his face calm but eyes wary. "I've been expecting this conversation." Monica hadn't anticipated his composure. "I've met someone else." "I know." His simple acknowledgement stunned her. "You know." "I'm not stupid, Monica." There was no anger in his voice, just resignation. "The late nights, the sudden interest in yoga. The way you flinch when I touch you." "I'm sorry," she said automatically, though she wasn't sure she meant it. Daniel nodded slowly. "Who is he?" "His name is Grayson. He's successful. We're going to Monaco together." A flicker of something pain, perhaps, crossed Daniel's face before disappearing. "I see." His calmness infuriated her. Why wasn't he fighting for her? Where was the jealous rage, the desperate pleading? "That's it? That's all you have to say?" "What would you like me to say, Monica?" "That I'll miss you?" "I will." "That I love you?" "I do. But I won't beg you to stay in a marriage you clearly don't want." His dignified response robbed her of the dramatic exit she'd imagined. She'd expected him to crumble, to reveal his weakness. Instead, his quiet acceptance seemed to confirm what she'd suspected all along. Daniel Ellis wasn't the man she deserved. 2 weeks later, Monica filed for divorce. Daniel agreed to all her terms without contest, his signature on the papers as even and controlled as everything else about him. The day before her flight to Monaco, Monica met with her lawyer to finalize the divorce. "He's not seeking alimony, no claim to joint assets?" her lawyer confirmed, surprised. "No," Monica replied. "He said he just wants me to be happy." The lawyer looked impressed. "Well, that makes this the easiest divorce I've ever handled." As Monica signed the final papers, she felt strangely hollow. But the sensation vanished when her phone buzzed with a text from Grayson. "Monaco awaits, darling. Pack light, will buy everything new there." Monica smiled. She was finally getting the life she deserved. Monaco dazzled Monica in ways she'd only dreamed of. From the balcony of Grayson's villa, the Mediterranean stretched like a sheet of sapphire beneath a cloudless sky. Yachts dotted the harbor, their white hulls gleaming in the sun. It was exactly as she had imagined, a postcard-perfect life far removed from coupons and mortgage payments. "Do you like it?" Grayson wrapped his arms around her waist, his chin resting on her shoulder. "It's paradise," she whispered. "And it's all yours now." His lips brushed her ear. "I have meetings this afternoon, but the car is waiting to take you shopping. The driver knows all the best boutiques." That first week passed in a blur of luxury. Monica dined at Michelin-starred restaurants, lounged beside infinity pools, and filled her closet with designer clothes. She posted carefully curated photos on social media, savoring the envious comments from friends back home, especially Vivian and Audrey, whose lives now seemed provincial by comparison. But by the second week, small inconsistencies began to surface. "Darling, there seems to be an issue with my card," Grayson said one evening, frowning at his phone. "Some mix-up with the bank. Would you mind covering dinner tonight? I'll transfer you the money tomorrow." Monica didn't hesitate. Of course, she handed over her credit card, proud that she could afford the $500. The next day, Grayson explained that his accounts were temporarily frozen due to a regulatory review of his latest acquisition. "Just bureaucratic nonsense," he assured her. "It'll be sorted by next week." Next week turned into next month. The promised villa, it turned out, was rented, not owned. "Just until the renovation on my property in Cap Ferrat is complete," Grayson explained smoothly. More concerning was his growing irritability. When Monica asked about his business meetings, he snapped that she wouldn't understand the complexities. When she suggested they visit his New York office during their planned trip to the States, he deflected, saying the building was undergoing renovations. Still, the good outweighed the strange. Grayson introduced her to people whose names she recognized from magazines, minor celebrities, socialites, people who seemed genuinely wealthy. They treated him with deference, and by extension, Monica felt accepted into their world. "You see?" Grayson whispered at a yacht party, as they clinked glasses with a European countess. "This is where you belong." 3 months into their relationship, they relocated to a luxury hotel in Barcelona. "Just temporarily," Grayson assured her. "My property manager in Monaco is handling some tax issues." The temporary stay stretched to 6 weeks. Monica noticed Grayson taking calls in hushed tones, his expression darkening whenever she entered the room mid-conversation. "Everything okay?" she asked, after one such call. "Perfectly fine," he replied too quickly. "Say, do you think you could loan me $20,000? My attorney needs a retainer for this regulatory nonsense. I'll pay you back next week with interest." It was the 5th loan in 3 months. Monica hesitated, calculations running through her head. Between the hotels, restaurants, and emergencies, she'd already spent nearly a third of her savings. "I'm not sure I can swing that much right now," she said carefully. Grayson's face hardened. "I thought we were partners. I've given you all this," he gestured around the presidential suite, "and you can't help me through one rough patch?" Guilt washed over her. "Of course I'll help. I just need to move some funds around." That night, as Grayson slept beside her, Monica scrolled through her banking app. Her accounts had dwindled alarmingly. The divorce settlement, the money she'd expected to last years, was rapidly disappearing. But the next morning, Grayson surprised her with breakfast in bed and tickets to a private art showing. His charm returned in full force, and Monica pushed her concerns aside. This was just a temporary setback. Once his regulatory issues were resolved, everything would return to normal. More troubling than the money was Grayson's increasingly erratic behavior. Some days he was the attentive, charismatic man she'd fallen for. Other days he disappeared for hours, returning with vague explanations and alcohol on his breath. At a casino in Barcelona, Monica watched in horror as Grayson lost $50,000 in a single night. "It's nothing," he slurred, stumbling back to their hotel. "I'll win it back tomorrow." "With what money?" she asked, her voice rising. "Grayson, we need to talk about our finances." He rounded on her, eyes flashing. "Our finances? Let me remind you who brought you into this world. You'd still be shopping sales racks with your pathetic husband if not for me." The mention of Daniel sent an unexpected pang through Monica's chest. For a fleeting moment she found herself missing the predictability of her former life, the safety, the certainty. But she quickly buried the thought. In their 6th month together, while Grayson was in a business meeting, Monica used his laptop to check her email. A notification popped up, a message from someone named Claudia. Against her better judgment, Monica clicked it. "Todd, the Warsaw deal is collapsing. Heinrich knows you're not with Meridian. We need to move on to the next mark before he contacts the others." "Todd? Who was Todd?" Heart racing, Monica opened more emails. Each revealed fragments of a disturbing picture. There was no tech company, no foundation, no villa being renovated. There wasn't even a Grayson Mill. The man she'd abandoned her marriage for, the man currently carrying her credit card, was a complete fiction. The hotel room door clicked open. Monica looked up to see him. Grayson, Todd, whoever he was standing in the doorway, his expression changing from surprise to cold calculation as he registered what she was doing. "Well," he said, closing the door behind him. "This is inconvenient." "Todd?" Monica's voice trembled as she stared at the man she thought she knew. "Your name is Todd?" He shut the hotel room door with deliberate slowness. "Let's not get caught up in semantics." "Semantics?" Monica stood up, laptop clutched against her chest like a shield. "You've been lying about everything. There is no tech company, is there? No foundation, no villa in Cap Ferrat." Todd, it was impossible to think of him as Grayson now, approached with the same smooth confidence that had once charmed her. But his eyes were different, calculating rather than warm. "Monica, darling, you're overreacting. Yes, I've had to be creative with certain details. Business requires discretion sometimes." "Business?" She laughed, a high, brittle sound. "Is that what you call this? Stealing money from women?" His smile vanished. "Put the laptop down, Monica." When she didn't move, he lunged forward, wrenching it from her grasp with surprising strength. The mask of sophistication had fallen completely now. "You had a good run," he said coldly. 6 months in paradise. Most marks don't last 3. The word marks hit Monica like a physical blow. "How many others have there been?" Todd shrugged, already packing his belongings with practiced efficiency. "You're number 8, since I started keeping count. Not my longest con, but definitely one of the more profitable. You really should check your credit score, by the way." Panic surged through Monica. She grabbed her phone, frantically opening banking apps. Her savings account empty, credit cards maxed out. Even her retirement account showed a zero balance. "What have you done?" she whispered. "Nothing you didn't authorize," Todd replied without looking up. Amazing what people will sign when they think they're helping their millionaire boyfriend through a temporary cash flow problem. Monica sank onto the bed, memories flooding back, documents she'd signed without reading, calls to her bank that Todd had helped script, wire transfers she'd authorized thinking they were investments. "You're nothing but a common thief," she hissed. Todd paused his packing to fix her with a stare. "Common? Please? There's nothing common about what I do. I provide a service. I give women like you exactly what they want. The fantasy of luxury, of being chosen by wealth." His voice hardened. "Women who abandon decent men because they aren't ambitious enough." The reference to Daniel was unmistakable. "You don't know anything about my marriage." "I know everything about your marriage, Monica." Todd zipped his suitcase. "I know Daniel was stable, kind, and genuinely loved you. I know you left him without a second thought when something shinier came along. You made yourself the perfect target." Monica lunged for the hotel phone. "I'm calling the police." Todd laughed. "And tell them what? That you gave your boyfriend money? That you authorized those transfers? That you willingly signed those credit applications?" He shook his head. "Check the paperwork, Monica. It's all legally your debt now." He headed for the door, then turned back. "The room's paid through tomorrow. Consider it a parting gift." After he left, Monica sat motionless for nearly an hour. Then mechanically, she called every bank, every credit card company. The news grew worse with each call. She wasn't just broke, she was nearly $300,000 in debt. That night Monica barely slept. By morning her shock had hardened into desperate determination. She would rebuild. First, she needed help, and there was only one person she could think to call. She dialed Daniel's number, rehearsing her apology. But instead of his familiar voice, she heard, "We're sorry, the number you have reached is no longer in service." She tried his work number next. The receptionist informed her curtly that Mr. Ellis no longer works with the company. Panic rising, Monica called Vivian, swallowing her pride. "Monica, my God, are you okay? We've been so worried." Vivian's voice held genuine concern. Through tears, Monica explained everything. The con, the debt, her desperate situation. "I hate to ask, but I need help," she finished. "Just a loan until I get back on my feet. I have nowhere else to go." A long pause followed. "Oh, Monica," Vivian sighed. I would. But you burned so many bridges. The things you said about us after you left, her voice hardened. You called us small-time nobodies stuck in suburban purgatory. You said we wouldn't understand the world you now inhabited. Monica winced, remembering her boastful social media posts. I was fooled, Vivian. I wasn't thinking clearly. I'm sorry you're in trouble, truly. But Mark and I can't help financially. Not after everything. One by one, Monica called everyone she could think of. Some expressed sympathy but offered no help. Others seemed almost pleased at her downfall. By afternoon, she had nowhere to turn. At the hotel checkout desk, her final credit card was declined. The manager, recognizing a familiar situation, was almost kind as he explained she had 1 hour to vacate the room before security would be called. In a daze, Monica wheeled her suitcase through unfamiliar Barcelona streets. Her designer clothes, the only assets she had left, suddenly seemed ridiculous, like costumes from a play that had abruptly ended. She found herself at an internet cafe, drawn by a desperate idea. Perhaps Daniel had left some trace online, a new number, a new contact. She searched his name, expecting nothing. Instead, she found an article from a tech industry website dated 3 months earlier. Reclusive tech mogul Daniel Ellis emerges, Nightshade co-founder reveals identity after decade of anonymity. Below was a photo that made Monica's heart stop. Daniel in an expertly tailored suit standing beside the CEO of one of the world's largest tech companies. The caption identified him as billionaire co-founder and silent partner. Monica read the article 3 times, uncomprehending. Daniel had been wealthy all along? The ordinary husband she'd discarded like a worn-out shoe was actually one of the richest men in the country? The cafe's owner had to ask her twice to stop crying. Monica sat in the cramped Barcelona hostel room she'd managed to afford with her last remaining euros, scrolling through article after article about Daniel. Each revelation felt like another twist of the knife. Nightshade co-founder Daniel Ellis donates $50 million to Children's Hospital, the same hospital from the fateful gala where she'd met Todd. Tech billionaire Ellis purchases Manhattan penthouse for record price, dated just 2 weeks after their divorce was finalized. Ellis Innovations launches renewable energy initiative, accompanied by photos of Daniel looking confident and at ease among world leaders and tech visionaries. One piece from a financial magazine explained it all. Daniel Ellis and college roommate Ryan Blackwood had founded Nightshade Technologies in their dorm room 15 years ago. While Blackwood became the public face of the company, Ellis deliberately maintained anonymity, working behind the scenes as the technical genius. Their privacy-focused software had revolutionized digital security, making both men billionaires before they turned 30. The article quoted an anonymous insider. Ellis is borderline obsessive about living normally. He drives regular cars, lives in middle-class neighborhoods, and most of his co-workers have no idea who he really is. After his parents were hounded by scammers following his early success, he became determined to find people who wanted him for himself, not his money. Monica's hands shook as she closed the browser tab. All those years of berating Daniel for his frugality, for his modest ambitions, while he was secretly worth billions. The 10-year-old Honda, the careful budgeting, the reluctance to attend flashy events. It had all been a deliberate choice, not a limitation. She thought back to their home, which she had always considered embarrassingly ordinary. Had there been signs she'd missed? The unexplained absences he attributed to team-building retreats. The secure home office she was never allowed to enter. His insistence on managing their finances himself. Her phone buzzed with a notification. Her last credit card had been officially cancelled. She was officially penniless in a foreign country. Desperation drove her to email an old college acquaintance who worked in finance. She didn't mention her situation, just asked casually if he knew anything about Daniel Ellis of Nightshade. His response came hours later. Strange timing for your question. Just met him last week at a tech conference in Singapore. Brilliant guy. Nothing like what you'd expect from someone worth $8.7 billion. Heard he's building some eco-compound in New Zealand now. Why do you ask? 8.7 billion. The number made Monica physically ill. She'd traded a billionaire for a con man because the billionaire didn't buy her expensive enough birthday gifts. With nowhere else to turn, Monica contacted the American consulate, explaining she'd been robbed and needed emergency assistance to return home. It wasn't entirely a lie. 3 miserable days later, she landed in her hometown with nothing but a suitcase of designer clothes and crushing debt. Her parents, retired and living on a fixed income in Arizona, couldn't offer much beyond sympathy and a small loan that barely covered a month's rent on a shabby studio apartment. 2 weeks after her return, Monica ran into Audrey at a grocery store. Unlike their old encounters at upscale cafes, Monica was now counting coins for discount pasta, while Audrey's cart overflowed with gourmet items. "I heard what happened," Audrey said, her expression a mixture of pity and discomfort. "That's terrible." Monica nodded, too humiliated to say more. After an awkward pause, Audrey asked, "Have you heard about Daniel?" "It's all anyone can talk about." "I know he's rich," Monica managed. "I saw the articles. Rich doesn't begin to cover it." Audrey glanced around before lowering her voice. "Daniel came to Rad's investment firm last month. Nobody knew who he was at first. He still dresses so normally. Then Raj recognized him from a business publication." She shook her head in wonderment. "He's building some revolutionary green technology campus and was looking for partner investors," Raj said in the meeting. Daniel mentioned his new approach to life. "New approach?" "Apparently after your divorce, he decided there was no point hiding his wealth anymore. The woman he trusted most had still left him, so why keep pretending?" Audrey winced, realizing how her words must sound. "Sorry, I shouldn't have." "It's fine," Monica interrupted. "What else did he say?" "Just that he's embracing his public role now. He's dating some environmental scientist he met through his foundation work." Raj said they seem really happy. Audrey checked her watch. "I should go. Take care of yourself, Monica." That night, unable to sleep in her squeaky rental bed, Monica finally did what she'd been avoiding. She looked up Daniel's social media profiles. His previously sparse accounts now showed a transformed life. There he was on a yacht, not rented, but owned. There he was breaking ground on a hospital bearing his family name. There he was at a tech awards ceremony, receiving a standing ovation. And there, most painfully, was Daniel, with his arm around a striking woman with intelligent eyes and an unpretentious smile. The caption read, "Claire showed me how beautiful the Great Barrier Reef is, and why we need to save it. Proud to announce Ellis Foundation's $100 million commitment to ocean conservation." Monica zoomed in on Daniel's face. He looked the same but different. Still kind. Still unassuming, but with a confidence that had always been there. Just muted. He was no longer hiding who he truly was. The man she had dismissed as ordinary had never been ordinary at all. He had been extraordinary in the most genuine way, not through flash and display but through purpose and principle. And Monica had been too blind, too fixated on the external trappings of wealth, to see it. 6 months after returning home, Monica's life bore no resemblance to the one she'd imagined for herself. She worked 2 jobs: receptionist at a dental office by day, waitress at a chain restaurant by night. Her studio apartment was furnished entirely from thrift stores and curbside finds. The designer clothes she'd once cherished had been sold piece by piece to cover living expenses. The weight of her debt hung over her like a perpetual storm cloud. Financial advisors had given her the same bleak prognosis. With her current income and the interest rates on her fraudulent debts, she would be paying Todd's crimes off for decades. "You should consider bankruptcy," one advisor had suggested, not unkindly. But bankruptcy felt like admitting final defeat. Some stubborn part of Monica still believed she could fix this herself. On a rare evening off, Monica curled up on her second-hand sofa, mindlessly scrolling through social media. She had mostly stopped looking at Daniel's accounts. The pain was too acute, but tonight, a headline caught her attention. Ellis Foundation launches financial fraud prevention program for victims of romance scams. The accompanying photo showed Daniel at a podium, looking serious yet compassionate. The article explained that after a personal connection to such scams, he was establishing a program to help victims rebuild their lives and financial security. Monica stared at the screen, a wild hope forming. Could she apply? Would Daniel help her, knowing she was among the victims? Or was this program his subtle revenge, helping others like her while excluding her specifically? As if the universe were answering her question, her phone rang with an unfamiliar number. "Is this Monica Ellis?" asked a professional female voice when she answered. "Yes, this is Monica." She no longer used her married name, having reverted after the divorce. My name is Jennifer Wu, legal counsel for the Ellis Foundation. I'm calling about your application to our debt relief program. Monica's heart skipped. I didn't apply to any program. A pause. Our records indicate that someone applied on your behalf. The foundation has been made aware of your situation with Todd Brennan, also known as Grayson Mills. You're exactly the type of victim our program was designed to help. Someone applied for me, Monica whispered, already knowing who it must have been. The applicant wishes to remain anonymous, Jennifer replied diplomatically. If you're interested, we'd like to schedule an assessment of your financial situation. The foundation may be able to negotiate settlements with your creditors and provide financial literacy training. Tears welled in Monica's eyes. Even now, after everything she'd done, Daniel was still helping her. Not directly, he maintained his distance, but through his foundation, offering her a way forward without the humiliation of a face-to-face encounter. Yes, Monica managed. I'd be very interested. Over the following weeks, the foundation worked tirelessly on Monica's behalf. They negotiated her debts down to manageable amounts, helped her establish a realistic payment plan, and enrolled her in financial management courses. For the first time since returning home, Monica felt a glimmer of hope. During a meeting with her case manager, Monica finally gathered the courage to ask the question that had been burning inside her. Does Daniel know I'm in the program? The case manager's expression remained neutral. Mr. Ellis reviews all cases personally, but he doesn't manage individual clients. It was answer enough. He knew, and he had approved her application. That night, Monica wrote an email she drafted 100 times in her head but never had the courage to send. Daniel, I won't pretend to know your reasons for helping me through your foundation. I don't deserve your kindness after how I treated you. I mistook your humility for weakness, your frugality for lack of ambition, your authenticity for plainness. I was looking for all the wrong things in all the wrong places. No apology can erase what I did, but I am truly sorry, not because of who you turned out to be, but because of who you always were, a good man. I was too blind to see properly. Thank you for the second chance I never gave you. Monica. She didn't expect a response and none came, but the foundation continued its work, gradually helping her rebuild from the ashes of her mistakes. 1 year later, Monica had paid off nearly 30% of her remaining debt. She'd been promoted at the dental office and had quit her waitressing job to take evening classes in dental hygiene. Her life was still modest, but it was honest, built on work and genuine connections rather than appearances. On her way home from class one evening, Monica spotted a familiar figure at a downtown crosswalk, Vivian, whom she hadn't spoken to since their uncomfortable grocery store encounter many months earlier. Monica? Vivian looked surprised but not unwelcoming. You look good, thanks, Monica smiled, genuinely meaning it. How are you? Can't complain. Did you hear about the Ellis Foundation Gala next month? Everyone's talking about it. Daniel's making his first appearance in town since, well, you know. Monica nodded. I heard. I'm actually working with his foundation now. They helped me after everything that happened. Vivian's eyes widened. Really? Wow. After everything? That's who he always was, Monica said quietly. I just couldn't see it. Later that week, an envelope arrived at Monica's apartment containing an invitation to the Ellis Foundation Gala, with a handwritten note. Your presence would be appreciated, Jennifer Wu, Ellis Foundation. Monica knew she wouldn't attend. Some chapters were better left closed, some lessons best honored from a distance. Daniel had moved on to a life true to himself, with someone who appreciated him for who he was, not what he owned. And Monica was finally learning to build a life based on substance rather than surface. She placed the invitation on her modest mantle, a reminder that true wealth had nothing to do with bank accounts or possessions. Daniel hadn't needed revenge, he had simply lived well, which had always been the best response to those who undervalued him. Karma hadn't struck Monica down, it had simply revealed the truth that had been there all along. What looks valuable isn't always what has true worth.